welcome back to our chemistry class. This is the third chapter which we are going to discuss today. That is metals and non-metals. Part 1. We will be discussing in the beginning about physical properties of metals and non-metals.
You must have all heard the terms metals and non-metals. Can you look around and see if they exist in your surroundings? What is your table made up of? Aluminium or wood? What about the phone or the laptop you're viewing this video on? Is it made up of metals and non-metals? As a matter of fact, it is. Almost everything around will be made up of either a metal or a non-metal. But how do you differentiate between the two? Is it as easy as the difference between the two colors black and white? Well, for that, let us look at the physical properties of each category in detail.
First of all, let us look into the properties of metals. Children, as we know, when we think about metals, metals are generally solid at room temperature. So first we can write it as they are solid at room temperatures. But there are some exceptions. Mercury is a liquid substance, which is, even though it is a metal, but it is liquid at a room temperature. Right? Now, second one, that is, metals are generally hard. Generally, metals are hard in nature. Correct? But some metals like sodium, potassium, they are found to be very soft. If you take sodium metal and if you cut with a knife, it can be easily cut.
Now, if the utensil drops on the floor, does it break into parts? No, right? That is because metals are generally hard in nature. However, this hardness varies from metal to metal.
Next, third one we shall look into it is lustrous properties. That is, metals, when they are freshly cut with a knife, their surfaces show shining. So this shiny surfaces, that property we call it as lustrous property.
Let us take for example the ornaments. Any of the ornaments will do. What do you have to say about them? You will observe that most of them are made up of gold or silver. Let us look at them closely. Do they have a shining surface? Or even the aluminium utensil in the kitchen? Does it shine? Of course, both gold and aluminium have a certain shine. Do you know what this shine is called? Well, it is called luster, and as both gold and aluminium are metals, this is known as metallic luster. Now we know that metals have a metallic luster.
Next we have fourth one. Children, metals can be beaten into thin sheets. That property we call it as malleability. What is malleability? Metals can be beaten into thin sheets.
How do you think huge aluminium sheets are made? Or sheets of copper or zinc? If I take a hammer and beat them, will they break or will they turn into sheets? It is the amazing property of metals to be beaten into sheets. And we call this property of metals as malleability of metals.
Next one, ductility. What is ductility? Wires. Metal can be drawn into thin wires. That is another property of metals, in which metals can be drawn into thin wires.
Ever seen copper wires or thin gold wires used to make jewelry? Metals, by nature, can also be drawn into wires. Do you have any clue as to what this property is called? It's called ductility of metals. The ability of metals to be drawn into wires is called ductility. There is an amazing fact I want you to know. A single gram of gold can be drawn into a 2-kilometer long wire. Isn't that amazing?
Another thing, if you consider melting and boiling points of melting and boiling points of metals are very high. Okay, and another one, if you consider that metals, suppose a plate, if you consider this is a plate, I am hitting with a hard object, right? While hitting with a hard object, metals produces ringing sound. So we can say that metals are sonorous, or metals show sonorous property. Means, in the temple bells and church bells and all, when it is hit with hard objects, it produces waves like ringing sounds, correct? That is actually due to the property called sonorous property, correct? Now metals also conduct heat as well as electricity. Metals conduct heat and electricity. If you take a metallic object like a spoon or something, and if you heat its one end, what happens? You start feeling after some time hot, right? You feel hot in the other end, correct? This is actually due to the particles or the molecules present in the, or atoms present in these metals conduct heat, so that from one end to the other end we get the heat. Now also electricity, when you put on the switch, then the light glows, correct? So it shows that metallic wires only through which conduction to possible, right? Now these are some of the physical properties. So like metals are solid at room temperature. They are hard, but there are some exceptions we have discussed, like sodium, potassium, like metals are very soft in nature. Now lustrous properties we have discussed here is metals are having a shiny surfaces, but you must remember iodine is a non-metal which also shows this lustrous property. Normally we say non-metals. Now if you consider non-metals case, non-metals are generally not solid at room temperatures. They are either liquid or gas. Okay. So what is the difference? Now we can draw out. Generally metals are solid at room temperatures, but non-metals are liquid or gas at room temperatures. Now metals are hard at the room temperature, but non-metals are generally which is liquid and gas, so they are not hard. Now metals show lustrous properties, whereas non-metals does not show lustrous properties, but iodine is an exception. Iodine is a non-metal which shows lustrous properties. Now malleability we have discussed. Malleability means metals show this malleable nature, means it can be beaten into thin sheets. Okay, metals can be beaten into thin sheets. Ductility means we can drawn into thin wires. Means metals can be drawn into thin wires. Then melting and boiling points, we know metals are very having very high melting and boiling points, but whereas non-metals are not having very high melting and boiling points. Then metals show sonorous property. Non-metals normally does not show sonorous property. Heat and electricity, when we discuss metals conduct electricity as well as heat, whereas non-metals generally do not conduct heat and electricity. But you must also remember graphite is an example. Graphite is a non-metal which conducts electricity. So it's actually graphite is an allotrope of carbon only. Like we have also in hardness, I forgot to tell you, hardness diamond. Diamond is a hardest substance known to the world. Actually, diamond is a non-metal. So these are some of the contradictions. Non-metal diamond is the hardest substance, even though we say metals are hard in nature and non-metals are not hard. But remember, non-metal like diamond is the hardest substance in the world, and graphite is a non-metal which conducts electricity. So what are these properties? I mean is these are the general trends. Means generally they are solid, they are hard, they are lustrous, they are malleable, they are ductile, or they show melting and boiling points. Their melting and boiling points are high. They show sonorous properties. They conduct heat as well as electricity. These are the physical properties. Let us tabulate the difference between metals and non-metals once again. Metals are solids except mercury. Non-metals may be solids, liquids or gases, but generally they are liquids and gases. Metals are hard except sodium and potassium. Non-metals which are solids are brittle. For example, diamond is the hardest substance which we have already discussed. Metals have metallic luster. Non-metals do not have luster. Metals have high melting points and boiling points. Non-metals have low melting and boiling points. Metals are malleable. That means they can be beaten into thin sheets. Non-metals are not malleable. Metals are ductile. That means it can be made into thin wires. Non-metals are not ductile. Means you cannot draw them into thin wires. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity, except graphite. Graphite is a conductor of electricity. It is an allotropic form of carbon. Metals are sonorous. That means they produce a sound, whereas non-metals are not sonorous. Now let's move on to the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Children, next we shall see what happens when metals are burned in air. See, so far we have discussed when you look into a particular substance like metal and non-metal, how do they look like? That are called physical properties. Now, how do they react when they burned in air? Means metal burning in air means reacting with the oxygen. Let us take an example of magnesium ribbon. Heat the magnesium ribbon above a burner. It will produce a white colored powder, that is our magnesium oxide. Correct? Now another example you take, instead of metal you have to write here Mg. Okay, Mg plus O2 gives MgO. Another example let us take, that is copper. Cu on reacting with oxygen produces CuO. that is, here also you have to put 2 Mg, 2 Cu plus O2 gives a 2 CuO, right? Now, children, what you have to understand from this is, when metals on a burning in oxygen, they produce what? Metal oxides. Clear? Another example let us consider. Aluminium burns in oxygen to form aluminium oxide. Let us balance this equation. Al2O3. Here oxygen 3 are there, here 2 are there. In order to get 2 and 3, you cannot simply balance like that. So, common factor we can take LCM, that is 2 3s are 6 will come. Correct? So, let me put 3 over here. Now, 2 3s are 6. In order to convert this one, you put here 2. 2 3s are 6. Now aluminium became 2 2s are 4. So it is 4Al plus 3O2 gives 2Al2O3. Correct? Now, children, normal cases, what we have discussed is metal on reacting with oxygen, they produces metal oxides. Okay, like normally, suppose if it is Na2O, sodium oxide, or K2O, these oxides are bases in nature, or normal cases you have to understand metallic oxides are basic in nature, like sodium oxide and potassium oxide and all. When you dissolve in water, they produce this will produce sodium hydroxide and this will produce potassium hydroxide. These sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxides are alkali in nature. Do you know what are alkalis? Alkalis are substances, alkalis are bases which can dissolve in water are called alkalis. Okay, bases which can dissolve in water are called alkalis. Now, children, you must remember, all metal oxides are not dissolving in all metal oxides do not dissolve in water, but like Na2O, K2O dissolves in water to form alkalis. Now we have aluminium oxide. This Al2O3, normal cases I told you metallic oxides are basic in nature. Now we shall look into aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide and higher oxides are actually amphoteric in nature. What does this amphoteric nature means? Okay, let us look into it. Amphoteric nature means these oxides, amphoteric oxides, they behave both as acid as well as base. Means when they react with acids, they show as base, and when they react with bases, they behave like acids. So that is called amphoteric behavior. Now let's look into that. First of all, Al2O3 plus HCl. What is HCl? You know, HCl is an acid. Okay. It will produce AlCl3. AlCl3 is salt. Plus, you know, children, if it is behaving like a base, base and acid reacts to form salt and water. Correct? When Al2O3 reacts with, of course, metal oxides are basic in nature, I told you. So metallic oxides like Al2O3 on reacting with HCl, it produces salt and water. Okay. Now listen, this reaction is not balanced here. Okay, Since it is Al2, I put 2Al, then Cl became a 6Cl. So now what we have to do is it became a 6H. So 2 into 3, 6 hydrogen. Correct? Now Al2O3 I am going to add into base like sodium hydroxide. What happens when Al2O3, that is our metallic oxide, reacting with the base. Now on reacting with base, it will produce NaAlO2 plus H2O, in which this NaAlO2 is sodium aluminate is produced. Sodium aluminate. Which is a salt as well as water is formed. So here also salt and water is produced when aluminum oxide was acting as a base. Now here you must understand what way it acted. It acted like an acid. So acid and base react each other. Neutralization reaction takes place. Salt and water is produced. Here also salt as well as water is produced. Children, you must remember one thing, that okay, it is balanced. Aluminium oxide is not like aluminium oxide is not behaving like normal metallic oxides. Aluminium oxide is an amphoteric oxide only. What is amphoteric oxide means? Amphoteric oxides are those metallic oxides which can behave like both as base as well as acid. When they react with the acids, they behave like a base, and when they react with the base, they behave like an acid. They both produces, these reactions both produces salt and water. Okay, this salt and water is produced, that's why we can say they are actually amphoteric in nature. Clear? Now children, today we have learned about physical properties of metal and non-metals, and we have also discussed what happens when metals are burned in air. That is first chemical property of metals, that is metals reacts with oxygen to form metallic oxides. Remember children, metallic oxides are basic in nature, or bases are formed. And remember, metallic oxides are all metallic oxides are not alkalis. Some metallic oxides like sodium oxide, potassium oxides are forming alkalis, and metallic oxide like aluminum oxide will produce or form an amphoteric oxide where it behave like a acid as well as base when they come in contact with acids as well as base. So next topic we will put up in the next module. Thank you students. Have a nice day.